Welcome to Our Hen House. This is Jasmine Singer.
And this is Marianne Sullivan.
And we're very happy you're joining us this week because Marianne will be speaking once again with filmmaker Liz Marshall. Liz.
I love Liz.
I know.
Don't you just love her?
I love Liz.
She's just the loveliest person.
And her latest movie, Meat the Future, which is receiving critical acclaim, is about the movement to recreate meat without using animals. And it focuses on the work of Dr. Uma Valetti of Memphis Meats. We've been lucky enough.
He has been on the podcast.
That's right. Yeah, he has. And we also were lucky enough to not only have him on the podcast in the past, but also to screen the documentary that you're going to be chatting with Liz about, Meat the Future. And I will tell you, this is a movie that is going to help change the world. Absolutely.
Can you imagine how happy she was when she thought of that title?
I'm sure. Yeah, it's a good title. It's a good title.
Yeah, it's a great title. So this week on the bonus segment, we'll be hearing a little bit more of my conversation with Liz. And once you hear the first part, you're definitely going to want to hear the second part. And so if you're a Flock member, you'll get that link to the bonus segment in your email on the Tuesday after the podcast goes up. You can always find it if you miss that email. And if you're like me and you miss millions of emails because they just keep coming and coming and coming and coming and coming.
Okay, calm down.
All right, calm down. But anyway, you can always just go to the Flock Facebook group and you don't need to go through your emails.
Perfect.
So if you're not a member of the Flock and you can afford it, you can join for $10 a month at ourhenhouse.org/donate.
Also, as a special thank you to our Flock and our community, we're doing these Flock Friday Zoom calls every week at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, where we discuss some of the topics we're struggling with or want to know more about. We have experts come in to shed light on certain aspects of animal advocacy, and it's a lot of fun.
And then sometimes you and I just shoot the shit.
Sometimes we just
shoot the shit.
Is that an expression?
Shoot the shit?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
All right, good.
So if you're a member of the Flock, check out the Flock Facebook group for updates or write to us at info@ourhenhouse.org. But before we get
I've been
to the
so
interview,
impressed with how incredibly international those calls have been.
They have been.
Have I mentioned that before? Yeah, it's just really crazy.
I know. It's really cool. I love it. And we're all going through the same thing.
We are everywhere.
And we're going through similar things, too. I think that there's been nothing more eye-opening and warm, fuzzy creating for me in my career than recognizing how not alone I am, both in terms of the internal struggles and in terms of the struggles for animal liberation. And the Flock proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that we're all in this together.
And for the struggles in dealing with the coronavirus, which, of course, is an international crisis. And everybody seems to feel that their country is doing a bad job, though I don't think anybody's country is doing as bad a job as ours.
That is true. Yeah. Well, before you chat with Liz
actually,
today,
another country where there has been unbelievably horrible results from the coronavirus is Iran.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm mentioning that because we got this cool message from Iran. That so thrilled me.
Yeah,
every time I hear from around the world.
Well, a podcast listener in Iran. But I need to say, and I wasn't going to, but I screenshotted that email and I sent it to you. And I was like, look, it's another listener on the other side of the planet. I love that. You were like, I love that. And now I can't find the message anywhere. So if you are listening and you're the one who sent it, send it to me again. And I promise I'll reply.
Well, that is just pathetic.
I just wanted to put out a call. It's like a call for a lost dog, but it's a lost email.
It's like there's a theme running through here that we really didn't plan on of like we're completely lost in our social media and our email and the avalanche of messages about nothing. And then we lose the good ones. And it's definitely an
at least
unwritten theme.
At least we have John, to help keep us straight.
Yeah.
Because he's leaving.
Some of you are familiar with John,
our producer,
if you've ever communicated with our hen house at all. He's our producer. Mm-hmm. And he just told us that he's leaving.
Well, he was getting his master's in social work, and we knew that this day would come that he would get hired. And
I actually thought nobody would. I mean, I think that John, if anybody would get a job, it would be John because he's very, very well qualified and he's great and he's terrific. But I didn't think he would because I didn't think anybody was getting jobs. But damn it, he got a job,
John.
Like right away.
Yeah. But anyway, so the disorganization will probably continue for a hot minute.
Yeah, well, yeah, it might get a lot
I just want to say
worse.
we are very happy for John and we will miss him terribly. He's he adds an important dynamic to our group staff calls.
Yeah, like he actually gets the podcasts out.
Right. Right. But he's also like, if we're ever going at it at each other or something, he has already put to use that social work degree. But and he's
True.
smart.
I'm always so fascinated when I listen to other podcasts. In the end, they like list the people who work on their podcast. And there's like 12 people, 15 people.
Yeah.
Like we have John. He does it all.
Yeah, well, did because he's leaving. But we're gonna miss him so much. He's smart and funny and capable and like very mission aligned, obviously, and most importantly, and he's been with us for a while. And but we're always sad when someone moves on, but we're always happy for them too. So anyway, I'm sure, and we will. The show will go on. We will figure this out. We've done it before. We've had this show for our 11 years, or we're in our 11th year or something ridiculous like that. So anyway, in brighter news,
brighter.
Yeah. Well, this is brighter. Yeah. Because I know that you mentioned a couple weeks ago on the podcast that that sweet old Rose has been failing, and she is over. She has rallied a little bit. She has rallied, so she's still here, and she loves being alive.
I kind of can't believe it. I mean, the reason I mentioned it on the podcast is because I really thought I was going to lose her, and I just thought I should like go there so that it wasn't all at once. Not that everybody, but I imagine everybody as being in love with Rose, because I don't know why they wouldn't be. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so she went through this terrible period, and she couldn't get up, and she couldn't walk, and she was, peeing and pooping everywhere, and it was a nightmare, very bad. She couldn't go up and down any steps, even just a little tiny step from one, to the back porch or whatever. And she went on the steroids. They said this is pretty bad, but we're going to try steroids. It's like a last ditch effort. And 3 days passed, and vet said we should see something. And I said maybe she's a tiny bit better, but I don't know. And then like a week later, all of a sudden, she's going up and down. I mean, going up and down the stairs. It's only two stairs.
Yeah,
it's a little precarious. Like she kind of like leaps and like, but she makes it. Yeah. And then she's down and she walks around her yard. So I know that listening to other people's ailments and even other people's dogs' ailments is not the most entertaining thing in the world. So forgive me if I've gone on and on, but it really, I can't believe it that she's better.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to be forever. Let's face it. She's pretty old, but wow. Yeah. The vet just couldn't believe it. I mean, she just couldn't believe it.
Well, so. I'm wearing my Rose necklace. It's a necklace of her.
That must be why. I'm sure there were a lot of good thoughts sent to her from out there. So thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank
you.
Who
did that. And she appreciates it because she likes everybody thinking about her all the time.
So switching gears, I wanted to mention that I'm going to be involved as a host / interviewer in this really cool conference that's coming up called FACES, Farmed Animal Conference E-Summit, the future of the farmed animal movement, from August 3rd to August 9th. It's going to be happening online, and if you go to facessummit.org, then you can find that, and it's being sponsored by Animal Place and by the Plant-Based Network. And basically it is for anybody who cares about changing the world for animals, because they'll be exploring various topics, including how to be a more effective and strategic advocate, and how to educate and empower others to make a change, and how to influence law and policy decisions affecting animals, and lots more too. So I am interviewing several of the people who will be speaking to those questions and more. And there's a couple other hosts as well, Jane Velez Mitchell, Genesis Butler, and Kim Sturla and Ron Gandiza are the other hosts. So we will be interviewing Peter Singer, my dad, who's not actually my dad, but whatever. details. Miyoko Shinner, my mom. No, I'm kidding.
God, I love Mayoko. I love her so much.
Seth Tibbett and Kelsey Leach and Neil Bernard, who was on our Hen House recently, and Joyce Tischler and Kip Anderson and Nita Crank and Keegan Yoon, Melanie Joy and Brenda Sanders, and the list goes on. Arianish Birdie and Don Moncrief and Tony Yakamoto, and just like it goes on and on. I could just keep mentioning people, but all of these people are going to be presenting. So I hope that you join. us at facessummit.org. It's going to be great. A great time.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, super cool.
That's very cool.
So one thing that has no transition whatsoever to it, but we were chatting about before we started recording, I was like talking about some jobs that I've been hearing about in animal rights and veganism. And in particular, not for animal rights organizations, but because for-profit veganism has been like on the up and up for many years, which obviously has been derailed a little bit this year because of coronavirus and the economic depression we're in. But aside from those little details, we were wondering the question if you have to be vegan to work for a vegan company. And, you know, I guess I think that one should be. Yeah, I think that they should be. And
well, I think that everybody should be vegan. So that's
full
like,
stop, right? Right.
Yeah.
But what about?
I think this is actually a really hard issue.
How so?
Well, there's many reasons to bring in non-vegans to vegan work. In the first place, sometimes they're really good at what they do. And sometimes you can't find somebody who's vegan who really has the skills to do a particular job. I mean, I think that's been a problem in the movement for a long time, that people, you know, just kind of make it up. They're not necessarily because they're passionate. They start a business or they start a podcast, even though they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And so to bring in people with skills who have education in a particular area is really, really valuable to any business or really any movement. And there's always the hope that if you bring them in, they will become vegan. But at the same time, it's just always, you know, the necessity to not eat animals makes this movement so complicated.
Right.
And it seems so simple to all of us. Like, why does anybody eat animals? But I think there are reasons on both sides. It's just hard for me to imagine a person advocating for a company that actually takes an ethical stance without, you know, actually not eating the constituency. It's just hard to imagine.
Yeah.
So I think there are arguments on both sides, and I don't blame anyone who goes for one side or another. But I really, really, really hope if it does happen that a vegan company hires somebody who's not vegan, that they go vegan.
And it speaks to kind of another topic also, which is like the fact that entrepreneurs sometimes see opportunities within the vegan sector since it's a rapidly growing sector. So they might start vegan businesses just because they want to make a buck, but they're not necessarily like down with the mission or the reason behind it. And for those companies, I think it's possible or even probable that they wouldn't prioritize like the personal interest side of their hires. Like I've been to some fancy vegan restaurants that like are clearly they employ actors or models, certainly here in LA, but also when I lived in New York as well. I remember being at a high-end restaurant and having this happen where I have overheard the servers say, I mean, I'm not vegan, and you know, and like it's like they need you could put this in your rising anxiety segment.
Like all the non-vegans, they need to announce it to you.
Right. They need to tell you. But I think in these scenarios, except for this one time in New York, which I'll tell you about in a sec, but I think in these scenarios, they were like, I'm not vegan and I even love the vegan fish dish or something like that. Like, I think they're trying to use it to sell the dish, but then I'm always like, ew, get away from me. I'm not going to, you know, like, I don't want to, like, this is my sanctuary. Right. This is my sanctuary. But when I was in New York once, years and years and years ago, I don't even think I knew you yet. I was at a fancy vegan restaurant and I was with my father, my biological father, who, to tell you how long ago it was, we haven't been in touch since I was 27. And well, except for maybe a couple times during deaths or whatever, the joys of life. And we were at a restaurant and he was being an asshole and he said something about not being vegan. And the waiter was like, oh, dude, I'm not vegan either. Let's like hit up McDonald's on the way out. And then they kind of like had a little high five sort of bro-y moment. It was so disgusting. I actually did report that server to the owners because it was like horrible. But this is a slightly different subject than like, what about like, you know, a vegan beauty company or like, you know, a vegan store or something like that. And I think it's...
Yeah, will they really be able to do whatever it is that they're doing, the promotion, whatever promotion they need to be doing, will they be able to do it when they're actually consuming the constituency? I don't know.
Well, I don't mean to throw you for a loop here, but like many years ago, also in Portland, there was a vegan bakery that had a call for employees, like they were hiring, and they said something like "must be vegan," and there wound up being like giant media about it because somebody complained about the fact that they were doing that, and it wound up being a lot of op-eds,
all these millions of vegan jobs going to that people are being excluded from just because they eat meat. It's just really like such bias. Yeah, that was a ridiculous experience.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not sure there's a good answer to this.
Just go vegan.
Maybe just everybody go vegan. All right, we came up with the good answer.
We figured it out. Okay, I liked this article that you linked to in our show notes. Do you want to talk about that?
Speaking of everybody going vegan, well, I don't know whether this will make people go vegan, but I just thought it was an extraordinary article that we should mention. And it's not really an article. It was in the Washington Post, or at least on their website, but it's content from Safeway, so it's really an ad, but it looks like an article. I don't know how all that works, and it actually seems a little skeevy to me, but it says very clearly that the content is from Safeway. And all right, here's the title: A Revolution in the Meat Aisle, and here's the subtitle: New plant-based alternatives are so good they're passing for the real thing. Here's how to plan summer meals around meatless burgers, sausages, and more. And it's a long, long article about, how to prepare them and why and how popular they are. In 2019, grocery sales of plant-based foods grew 5 times more than overall food sales nationwide. All this information like that. And, talking about how great they are and how they taste just like meat. And I just think this is really, I just wanted to share it because it's really, really cool. It's when you put these divisions in the industry and when the retailers see that they shouldn't be completely aligned with the meat industry and they need to separate themselves and they need to move in a different direction. That I think is a really exciting move. So that's why I wanted everybody to see it.
Well, and also how quickly we become normalized to things that it is actually really important to recognize that that's a giant big leap. And, I don't often ever go back to our early episodes back in 2010, but everything has changed since then. And if we had seen this back then, we would have fainted. I mean, it's just as
totally.
So we have to kind of take these moments to be this is a big deal. We are a society that acclimates. We have acclimated way too quickly to the coronavirus. It is now our new normal. Sometimes I'm walking outside and I'm wearing my mask and looking around and I'm like, what have we become? And here we are, just like that. You know what I mean? And on the other side of it is that is the successes and the joys, how quickly they become our normal. I talked last week about how my interview with Joaquin Phoenix is out in Veg News. And before I interviewed him, I was dying because I was about to interview Joaquin Phoenix. And as soon as I finished interviewing him, within an hour, it was just normal. It was oh yeah, I interviewed Joaquin Phoenix. It's just a normal thing. But we have to pause and notice these things. Just we have to pause and be that article that you just talked about. Whoa, it's cool, right?
Yeah, that's a big deal. I mean, this is Safeway. That is a big company.
Yeah. Okay, so that's a good thing. And another good thing is that we love to support vegan businesses, many of whom need extra support right now. So we're shouting some of them out each week. Some are places we already know and love, and others we're not familiar with, but they have let us know that they would love a shout out. So if you would like an announcement, go to ourhenhouse.org/vegan businesses and fill out the form or share it with the business owners in your life. So with that in mind, I got a very special delivery this past week. You're going to be very jealous.
I already know what you're talking about, and I already am very jealous.
So in Chicago, there is a vegan Jewish deli called Sam and Gertie's, and it is run by Andy and Gina Kalish, who also have the restaurant Kalish, which is also a vegan restaurant in Chicago where you and I have both eaten. And I became friends with them from going out there and eating at their restaurant. I've become buddies with them. They sent a care package of a significant amount of menu items from Sam and Gertie's to my apartment in West Hollywood. And I'm telling you, I got everything. All of the iconic vegan food you can imagine. I got cream cheese. I got vegan chicken salad made with homemade seitan as the chicken. I got bacon. I got corned beef. I got
Bacon.
pastrami.
Bacon isn't Jewish.
Sorry, I meant pastrami. Good call.
Good
call.
Lord.
Sorry.
Your grandmother
I know,
is
she
very
just turned
upset
in
at
her
this moment.
Just kidding, Grandma. It wasn't. It was vegan corned beef. I got. I'm just
Oh God, I loved corned beef. I would like some vegan corned beef.
pastrami, gefilte fish, all of it vegan.
Yeah,
Chopped liver.
gefilte fish I could live without.
Chopped liver, vegan. Obviously, all of it's vegan.
I love chopped liver. I loved all this food.
I know.
I want to go to Chicago right now. Oh, I guess I can't.
Nope.
I guess we can't go anywhere.
Nope.
Speaking of normal, the new normal.
Nope.
I saw this tweet today and it said, Trump promised that we would go to Mars. Now we can't even go to Europe.
That's true. That's funny.
It is true.
Anyway.
All right. I selected, we always like to feature a Black business as well. And I selected it because it just feels like old home week. And I wish I could go there again. I'm talking about Uptown Veg,
Ugh.
which is on 125,
So good.
125th Street in Harlem, in Manhattan, and is just one of my favorite restaurants on the planet. Totally unpretentious. You know, it's one of those old school Black, both a juice bar and all this delicious steam table that you order. You know, they have like 25 dishes in front of you and just order what you want and they pile it on a plate. And oh, it's so good. I love that place.
Yeah, I do too. And I want it so much right now.
If you're in Manhattan, head up to 125th Street and get to Uptown Veg.
But walk there because I don't want you to get on the subway.
Or you can find them, if you want to just be jealous, you can find them on Facebook and Instagram at Uptown Veg Harlem.
Thanks for bringing that up. On Instagram, you could find Salmon Gerties at Salmon Gerties on Instagram, so check it out. And now to Marianne's interview with Liz Marshall, who is an award-winning Canadian filmmaker, and she is an incredible, incredible visionary and artist, and she has created feature-length films that explore social justice and environmental themes that are driven by very strong characters. Of her many movies, you're probably most familiar with her critically acclaimed documentary, The Ghost in Our Machine, which featured photographer Joanne MacArthur and also featured us.
Well, Joanne MacArthur for the whole movie, us for a second.
For a second. And her current feature documentary is Meet the Future, which chronicles the birth of the clean, cultured, cell-based meat industry in America through the eyes of pioneer Dr. Uma Valetti. And Marianne is going to be speaking with Liz Marshall right after this. The Our Hen House podcast is brought to you partly through the Barnard Medical Center. The Barnard Medical Center combines medical care with the latest advances in prevention and nutrition to help create a healthcare plan designed just for you. Use the telehealth services to receive medical care from the comfort and safety of your own home. Telehealth appointments are currently available for residents of California and New York, Washington, D.C., Virginia, Maryland, Missouri, Massachusetts, Arizona, and Colorado. To set up your first appointment, call 202-527-7500 or create an account at the patient portal at pcrm.org/barnard-medical-center/telemedicine. That was complicated, so I'm going to say it again. pcrm.org/barnard-medical-center-telemedicine. Whether you want a wellness checkup, have a minor medical problem, or need to address something more serious, they are here to help. The Barnard Medical Center's clinicians and dietitians are available via telehealth to treat and prevent diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, and other chronic conditions. Their team of board-certified physicians, nurse practitioners, and registered dietitians provide state-of-the-art medical care and provide practical tips and tools for improving anyone's lifestyle. Take control of your health today and call them at 202-527-7500. The Barnard Medical Center was established by the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, a nonprofit organization founded in 1985 that promotes preventative medicine, especially good nutrition, conducts clinical research studies, and promotes higher standards in research. You can download the free 21-day vegan Kickstart app to utilize meal plans, recipes, and cooking demonstrations from nutrition experts. You can find whatever you want to download your apps like Google Play by looking for 21-day vegan Kickstart. And don't forget, pcrm.org/barnard-medical-center/telemedicine.
Welcome to our hen house, Liz.
It is so nice to be back.
It is